Hey Spooklets, welcome back to our channel. Tonight's chat is all about Rorsby Mental Asylum. The asylum that we have been visiting for a long time now. We've been numerous times, spent hours and hours and hours, haven't we, in there?
He's our best friend.
It is, and we truly believe that place is haunted, so that's why we keep going back, because we just feel that the evidence we get together in it, that we might be able to one day say, look,
yeah,
it's real. And prove to ourselves more than anything, isn't it, that it's real. But yeah, we've done a lot there. We have told brief history on the place, but tonight we're going to talk about the entire history of the place. It is really interesting. We're also going to talk about the film that was done in there, the Lucifer effect. Mm-hmm. And also it is on the internet about what hauntings are like, well, some spirits that do haunt in there. Supposedly. We'll talk about them, and also we're going to just talk about our experiences and sort of like compare.
Talk about it as a whole.
Yeah, talk about it as a whole, like
what we
our
found
experiences and comparing, just so it's stuff that we talk about all the time and you guys get to listen to. If you're new, don't forget to hit subscribe. On a Monday 7 PM it is investigation night, Thursday 7 PM is pick and mix. That's what we called it, wasn't it? Pick and mix. So it can be a chat, it could be an extra investigation. If any collabs happen, I do too.
Potluck.
And collabs as well. They put on a Thursday. So if we ever meet up with anyone else, they're putting on a Thursday too. Also, if you do have a story, a ghost story that you'd like us to read out, please send it our way. It can be anonymous. We don't have to name you. But if you would like your story told by us and listen to us talk about your story, then send it over. Also, a massive thank you to our members. You guys are amazing. Without further ado, this is going to be quite a long, not long, but it's going to be quite lengthy because the history, isn't it? It's amazing though, guys, and I really, really hope you enjoy. So I'm going to pass you over to Lisa. And she's going to tell us the history.
Did you pass something?
No,
she just went like
just
that.
passing them to Lisa. Lisa's now speaking.
I am going to speak.
Yes.
You need to listen.
Yes, listen carefully, get your snacks.
Yeah.
Right, so as Susie said, it's called Rorsby, but it has had a few previous names. Originally it was called Kesteven County Asylum. It was then changed to Kesteven Mental Hospital, and at one point it was also called RAF Rorsby, which was, you'll find out in a little while, is during the war. The new Kesteven County Asylum was opened on the 20th of June 1902. It had its first batch of patients transferred by train from the workhouse at Grantham. I wonder if that's because before that point they didn't actually have anywhere for people with mental health problems. They literally ended up in the workhouse.
Probably.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like, doesn't it?
I think so. Yeah. It's
wow,
weird,
that's really sad.
It is really, really sad.
People who suffered with mental health problems were just dumped in the workhouse then.
Because we know workhouses weren't nice places.
No.
It's because they were seen as not normal.
Yeah. It's sad, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's easy.
The people who now, I mean, we're all very aware of mental health problems now, and now you get treated and you get treated as a normal person.
Yes.
It's just weird to think that, like, literally a little over 100 years ago, people were treated like they were subnormal.
But you think as well, it must have been scary not knowing what's wrong with these people as well. Like maybe
not having the experience to understand.
Yeah, and if any of these people were alive today, they'd probably feel awful. Do you know what I mean? Maybe not some of them.
Yeah. The first medical superintendent was a man named Dr. Ewan. As with all county asylums, Rorsby was intended to be as self-sufficient and self-contained as possible, with its own recreation hall, workshops, carpenters, engineers, cobbler, tailor, bakery, airing courts. I don't know what these airing courts are, but
if you know what an airing court is, guys, comment.
Yeah, it's mentioned
not
a couple
that
times.
where you hang your washing now.
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you?
It does sound like that, actually.
I think maybe it's where you exercised.
Airing court. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. Mortuary, surgery, opticians, dentist, dark room, laundry, blacksmith's, chapel, and its own farm.
Dark room though as well.
Yeah,
that's a bit random, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe they photographed. I don't even know.
No, I don't even want to think.
No,
about
I don't know.
In the early days, from 1902 through to the 1930s, staff at Rorsby worked 14-hour shifts from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. before handing over to a reduced night staff who covered the remaining hours. They had 1 half day off per week, and every third Sunday could also be taken off. Even on their days off, they had to be back at the asylum by 10 p.m. or they would be instantly dismissed. To be locked back on the ward for the night along with the patients, albeit in their own rooms. So they were almost like treated like poorly as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
The farm was extended from 112 acres by another 70 acres in 1913 in anticipation of growing patient numbers, and one of Rorsby's most notable elements was added the following year, which is a cast iron orangery, which is still there.
Yes.
You can't get in it though, unfortunately.
Apparently you can.
You can.
It can. Can you come round from the back?
Maybe. When we next go there, guys,
We'll
I don't know
give it a
when
go.
you'll see the video, but we're going to look at the place a bit differently because we knew most of the history, but we've dug deeper, haven't we?
Yeah, because it mentions about the different buildings, and we've always sort of not really
known too much
about how they were laid out and stuff. I mean, a lot of the buildings aren't there anymore. That main bit has gone, hasn't it? Like behind the admin block.
Yeah.
But there is a orangery. The orangery is still there.
Yeah.
It was cleverly incorporated into a gap between the southernmost male and female ward blocks. This was added in July 1914. However, both proved fortuitous as the extra land and space to grow helped mitigate some of the shortages that would come with the outbreak of the First World War. During both World Wars, many asylums were cleared out for military use, with the patients either discharged or crammed into those asylums which remained in their original role. Rorsby was one that remained and saw such overcrowding that every ward was filled with beds end to end, while even corridor space was given over to being lined with beds, including some of the corridors in the basement, which was a bit like, ooh.
Yeah, that really sort of...
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having to sleep down there?
This is what I mean by this is one of the things that it's like, we're going to look at that place differently.
Yeah. Most of the male staff were enlisted in the war effort, and Dr. Ewan, now the only remaining qualified staff member in the whole asylum, there was no choice but to allow senior female staff who had previously been banned from entering the male wards to take up work across the asylum in order to direct the work of the other, often inexperienced new staff. Beside a German Zeppelin dropping the bomb in a nearby field, Rorsby otherwise passed the First World War unscathed. Dr. Ewan retired in 1922, which coincided with the institution changing its name to Kesteven Mental Hospital. Unusually, there was no immediate replacement lined up, but he was finally superseded by a Dr. Ian MacPhail, which we've come across while we've been there, in 1923. An isolation hospital was built in 1919 in anticipation of the asylum being hit by the influenza epidemic that had swept Europe at the time, which killed millions. As it happened, and probably largely due to its own isolation, Rorsby had no issues with this, and the hospital was never used for its intended purpose. So by 1924 it was used to house those patients who worked on the asylum farm, thereby freeing up a little space in the main building. Rorsby was actually built for a total of 460 patients, and in 1930 it had a total of 464. A programme of improvements began in the 1930s, with all the dirt roads being tarmacked and the prison-like airing court railings, that's why I think the airing court, it's where they went for a walk, isn't it?
Yeah.
Being replaced instead with thick shrubbery, refurbishment of the bakery, kitchens and laundry, and a graveyard being arranged for those patients who died at the asylum and were not claimed by relatives. You've been to the graveyard, haven't you?
Yeah, because it's abandoned. The headstones have been removed, but the bodies are all still there. And
Which is sad.
It was sad, but it was nice to go visit them.
Yeah. That's quite sad to think that people were put there because they never got...
Yeah, but a lot of people got dumped at the asylum, didn't they? And
They
their families
did,
just abandoned.
They didn't want to know them anymore. No, but I have
Yeah.
been to the graveyard. There is a video somewhere
on
on the channel within all the investigations we've done.
And a nurses' home and admission hospital were also built around the time. Unlike the previous war, Rorsby would give up its usual role to play a rather different one in World War II. Lincolnshire in general, with its large open spaces and flat fields, would play an important role in the coming aerial warfare which would define World War II. Initially, only the admission block was cleared to accommodate overspill from the RAF Cranwell in April 1940, but by June it was felt that a much more significant RAF hospital was needed in that area, and Rorsby was the obvious choice. So with scant notice of time for preparation, on the 20th of June 1940, all patients were transferred to other institutions and almost the entire building cleared out within just 48 hours. Most going to hospitals in Derbyshire, Leicestershire and Rutland and Nottingham. Only a few patients remained to occupy the former isolation hospital in order to work on the farm and the laundry, both roles at which some patients were now seasoned hands. So it makes you sort of think that they were probably people like in today's society that were maybe just had a bit of problem with like depressions and things like that. That's why they kept them there.
Oh wow.
They just sorted out the farm and but a lot of them, you can imagine, it was probably because that was the only home they knew.
Yeah.
So
they'd been dumped there.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah. I mean, in sort of back along, you can't imagine that they would even understand things like ADHD or autism, Asperger's, anything that we now treat.
The only thing is as well, we've never been able to find it. You hear in all these asylums, all these horrible experiments were going on. Did they go on in there?
I don't know. They never mention it because I think they probably weren't well documented.
Do you think it happened at Rorsby?
Possibly.
I think it did. You know when you can feel it.
Well, but for how long it's been open, it probably has happened there.
Yeah. You know when you just know.
Yeah.
But you can't
I would say earlier on in the time.
But it wasn't considered abuse then, was it? It was treatment.
It was.
That was
like water treatment and lobotomy and like electric shock treatment. And
I bet they did it all there because it's a big asylum. They would have done these experiments there.
Yeah. During the World War II, new specialised operating theatres were built and the ground floor windows were taped up and sandbagged in order to provide some protection from the bombings. RAF Rorsby, as it was now known, was to become one of the pioneering centres for plastic surgery, as air warfare meant a high prevalence of burns injuries and disfigurement to any pilots who survived. Nurses described patients who were brought in with their skin still sizzling with phosphorus, who were immediately transferred to one of the 3 large submersion baths filled with saline solution. The nurses who stayed to comfort them and peel away the layers of detaching skin would often get burns themselves from spending so much time in the saline environment. They also mentioned that it wasn't just burns as in how you would think like hot burns, it was also cold burns like from the like height frostbite and things.
I wonder isn't frostbite meant to be worse?
It basically makes your skin rot.
That's horrible. Is that why it goes black?
Yeah, it's not nice.
No.
Well, you get a lot of people that, like, when they get frostbite and stuff in their fingers, they end up losing their fingers, don't they? So.
Yeah.
Rorsby's non-psychiatric population peaked during the war with up to 1,000 war casualties housed there, which is a lot when you think it was only designed for 460 people.
I know.
So,
because when it had 464, there was only one doctor, wasn't there?
Yeah. There was also another 1,000 beds in storage should it have been needed if there was an event of invasion or heavy aerial bombardment. Psychiatric work continued to be done, however, albeit for the military personnel, with 1,791 outpatients seen and 141 inpatients present in 1943 alone. So they were still having to treat people. At the time, it was probably for what we now know as PTSD, I would have thought.
Yeah.
RAF Rorsby was very busy during this period, and in 1943 records showed a total of 5,337 total admissions, an average of nearly 15 a day, and 18,650 outpatient appointments, which is an average of 52 per day. Former staff and patients spoke of seeing ambulances lined up nose to tail at certain times. Two of the legendary dam busters, Guy Gibson and Flight Lieutenant Hutchinson, who were both admitted to the RAF Rorsby. The former was rehabilitated at Rorsby but left the hospital to be killed during his next mission. The latter, who was described as practically decapitated on admission, in fact survived his ordeal. Another noted RAF patient was John Hanna, the youngest person to ever receive the Victoria Cross at just 18 years of age.
We were saying about the Victoria Cross, weren't we? That
it's normally posthumously, isn't it?
Yeah.
A commemorative plaque was placed in the entrance hall to remember those RAF personnel who worked and lived at RAF Rorsby between 1940 and 1947.
Stop a minute.
Yeah.
Is that washing machine going to be interfering with this?
Guys, we stopped because the washing machine started going mental. I'm hoping it hadn't interfered too much.
But let's wait for it to finish rattling the house.
Yeah, so we're safe now. Carry on.
Yes. While it was still to do with the RAF, in 1945, on a Whitsunday party, someone ducked behind the stage to have a smoke, accidentally igniting the furniture which had been stored there, and the whole main hall caught fire at around midnight. The flames, propelled by the lacquer wooden flooring, pine panelling and heavy drapes covering the stage, by 3 a.m. the hall had all but gone. And had Rorsby not been built with its own water tower and within reach of Sleaford's fire brigade, things could have been a lot worse, but there was no loss of life. So somebody having a cheeky fag got trouble.
It's weird, isn't it? Because we've had burn come through quite a few times.
Yeah.
But we've always thought because it was a burns...
Yeah, we sort of put it down to like it being to do with the people being burned.
But it could be that someone's saying... that there was fire. Yeah, that's fire. We don't know,
we didn't know that, did we?
No.
Until we started doing a bit of research. The RAF remained until 1947, and along with the various repairs and alterations that were needed to bring it back into psychiatric use, the Kesteven authorities also took the opportunity to refurbish and renovate the hospital. Yes, that's our washing machine.
It's like, I'm finished!
I'm finished, just to let you know. Just to play a little tune. We like it. I recorded that the first time. I forgot. I was like, I'm so impressed.
That's my ringtone now.
The washing machine.
Yeah, this is my washing machine.
I forgot about that, actually.
Yeah.
Do that. It's finished.
Because they took the opportunity to refurbish and renovate it while it was largely empty, the patients weren't readmitted until 1949, by which point Rorsby, like all former county asylums, was now part of the newly formed NHS and was renamed just Rorsby Hospital.
Yeah.
In 1953, the Admissions Hospital was refurbished and then reopened as Orchard House, which was intended to be run largely as a separate institution to the main hospital. It provided inpatient beds, but everyone there was admitted on a purely voluntary basis, and they were free to come and go as they pleased. Unlike any major mental hospital of the time, the genders were also free to mix in social sense at any time, and the doors were only locked at night. The patient population of Rorsby peaked at 590 in 1958.
Wow.
See, to say that was in the 50s, that was quite revolutionary, really, wasn't it? To allow them to come and go as they pleased, and they were purely there on a voluntary basis.
Yeah.
So it's quite amazing, really.
Yeah, it is.
In the notoriously hot, dry summer of 1976... this bitch was born that year.
It was a good year, Angela.
It was a good year.
She was born right in the middle in June. And Mum said she caused us grief coming out, and she's been like it ever since.
Brutal.
The water tower, admin block and chapel all suffered subsidence, with the chapel falling out of religious use altogether and only being used for storage since that time. A small new chapel was set up inside the main building. By the 1970s, all British asylums were being looked toward eventual closure, and Rorsby was no exception, with the patient population gradually starting to dwindle throughout the decade. The former parole villa, which had taken the role of gradually reintroducing patients to the world outside, the mental outside the mental hospital was renamed Verbena Ward, and this became the overall direction that most of the hospital would subsequently work towards. The patients were gradually moved back into their communities, and the idea was that the care via more local outpatient facilities, social services, self-help groups, home visitation, etc. would move back there along with them. The Mental Health Act of 1983 saw this process speeded up significantly, although Rorsby was a little slower to empty than some, still having 350 patients, more than half its capacity, by 1986. By 1987, Orchard House had passed out of psychiatric use and became the administrative centre for the local health authority, and by 1990, nurse training was no longer happening on the site. Rorsby finally closed for good on the 17th of December 1997. That's it.
It was open years and years and years and years and years. It's been so many different
It was
things.
nearly 100 years, because it was 1902 to 1997.
It's mad. The amount of patients in and out of there.
There must have been thousands.
I know.
Thousands and
I know.
thousands.
So, I'm now going to get on to the hauntings and about the Lucifer effect. So, haunting-wise, it is documented. Oh, by the way, where Lisa's read her piece from, I will link the website, so you can go read it again yourself if you want to.
I better send it to you, won't I?
Yeah, you send it to me. And then mine is from paranormalhauntings.blog. I will link it in the description so you can go have a look yourself. There is more to theirs as well, so you might want to read a bit more. It tells you a bit of the history, and it's got some pictures of the place as well. It's really, really cool, so definitely go check it out. But yeah, haunting-wise, it is documented that a male named Bert is said to haunt the top floor of Rorsby Hospital's admissions unit, along with a young maid. Within the hospital, there is rumoured to be another spirit that has no facial features and makes a disturbing groaning noise before vanishing into the darkness. Now, we were saying we think we've had Bert come through.
We've had his name come through
numerous times.
His name,
we've had his name come through numerous times.
Yeah.
Whether that's a coincidence, we don't know, but it is weird, obviously.
Yeah. And I think where we go is mainly a ward. Whether it's the admissions bit, I'm not sure.
Well, we said, didn't we?
I have got the old map
blueprints.
somewhere,
Yeah,
blueprint
so,
and that.
Again, next time we go to Rorsby, we'll be able to tell you a bit more in depth where we are investigating. And
we'll show you as we're going.
Yeah, and then if Bert and the maid are in another part, maybe we should go in there and try it. If we're not in the admission. Yeah, of course, yeah.
But
think
let me
of that,
have a
'cause
look,
a lot
'cause
of it's been knocked down, guys.
It does actually say on that bit
Yeah.
what's still there.
Right.
Oh,
it did. Yeah.
Oh, it basically says that the admin, chapel, wards. It just says wards.
Yeah.
So it could be an admissions ward. We don't know, do we? Yeah. Isolation hospital, orangery, and the annex are still remaining.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So it's down to whether the wards.
Yeah,
is
but
an
like I say,
ward,
look at the blueprints. We'll know more. Won't
yeah.
we? So we'll figure it out next time we go. It'll be a bit more of an in-depth. We'll find Bert properly and the maid. Yeah. But weirdly, if it is where we normally go, Bert's name has come up a few times.
Yeah, it has, yeah.
And we hear a female.
And the humming.
Humming.
And I heard that one that day when you two went off and left me, didn't I? I heard that lady's voice.
Yeah.
Right.
We heard a lady last time we were there. I don't know if you've seen the video yet, guys. I'm not sure. But there's a lady. We've definitely, you'll know when the video goes up. We're so scheduled ahead with videos, guys. I can't remember where we've been, what we've done, but obviously because I edit, it freshens my mind, doesn't it? So
mine's just sitting there blank. So I don't know what's going on.
But we've also heard male. So is this the faceless ghost?
And Ian has come through.
Ian, and we're thinking that we're
a couple of times we've actually sort of not known whether it said Ian or Ewan as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
So, but there's a Dr. Ewan and a Dr. Ian, so it could be either, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Either or.
Again, we can, we're always investigating at that mental hospital, so it's all it's constant experiments, doing theories, seeing if they work. It's all trial and error, guys, all trial and error. But they are the spirits that are supposed to haunt Rorsby.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the Lucifer effect. So the Lucifer effect was filmed within the building while it was abandoned. 8 members of the public participated in an unscripted filmed experiment at Rorsby Asylum on 24th of January 2010. They all signed a waiver form and agreed to be locked inside for 3 days and nights with little food and water. Cameras were set up to record the effects. The film was studying the social condition known as the Lucifer effect, which is a psychological consequence that is said to occur when good people are given power over others in an evil place. The effect was first investigated in the 1970s during the infamous Stanford prison experiment by Professor Philip Zimbardo. The director, Tim Burke, wanted to do a production of the Lucifer effect, which was a recreation of a modern-day equivalent of the Stanford prison experiment in an abandoned mental asylum. A cameraman was nearly strangled to death after a séance with a spirit board. The 8 participants began to act strangely, supposedly under a curse. The film was classed as fake, but the events that happened are supposed to be real and unscripted. All 8 required treatment of some kind. The film was shown at the Cannes Film Festival, where it supposedly affected members of the audience. The film was stopped and the police confiscated all the footage. I'm just going to stop there because there is a clip, a 2-minute clip on YouTube, isn't there? I will link that in the description as well. Go give it a watch. I can't show it because of copyright, so I'll link it. Go give it a watch. It's a bit creepy, but yeah. One photo was posted online from the festival of a girl who was assaulted whilst the lights mysteriously went out during the film's midnight screening. John Valenti, manager of the screening room, who also attended the screening, committed, "The energy in the room was rowdy and excitable due to the nature and history of the film anyway. However, when the lights went dark, we heard a loud commotion and discovered a girl had a cut on her eye when the backup lights were eventually switched on. The film director went missing after making the film. What really happened, and was the film cursed? I guess we'll never know. The only link..." Oh no, that's about a link. But we have also heard that the director went to Brazil.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that paranormal blog are lying. I'm not saying that at all. But we have heard something different, and
there's quite a few different rumours.
There is.
Yes,
So it's our job
saying.
to say what we've heard.
There's a lot of rumours around the whole thing. Isn't
There
the
is.
filming,
We were saying it's all about like Chinese whisper sort of things.
about the
isn't it?
filming, what happened, how it happened. I think it's all a bit of a blur by the sound of it.
Yeah,
like,
we don't know. We know that something happened in there, but we don't know to what extent.
we've heard that that the people that were involved were just general public. We've also heard that they were actors.
Paranormal investigators.
We've heard that they were paranormal investigators. There's so much like gossip about it that I don't think we'll ever really know what went
the fact.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, the facts.
Yeah, because it'll all get mixed up.
Of course it. Well, it does after time. I mean, it's not that long ago, but
well, it's about 12 years ago.
you know
now,
what
isn't
people
it?
are like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not saying that this.
But when you go
is
in,
wrong.
there is a thing that on the it says the
Lucifer effect, which
as you go
is in plenty of our videos as we walk in the building. I tend to always go, "Oh, Lucifer effect." But yeah. We find the place interesting, don't we? We do believe it's haunted. Something that I've thought about recently as well, you can get a haunted house, right? But nobody's died in it. If this house has had a lot of abuse, like really bad abuse in the house, when they've gone, it can leave negative energy.
Yeah.
Because me and Amy were saying this. You know, if you walk into a room and someone's had an argument, but you don't know they've had an argument, but you can feel it.
Oh yeah,
it's that
yeah.
They've left some energy there, and we were saying the night before you go on holiday, there's a difference in the house, isn't there? There's a different energy in the house. It's because you're all giving off this energy.
Yeah.
So, and I personally think
We've
that is
said
what's
that a
in
few times, haven't
Rorsby.
we? When you go to places, you can always tell.
Oh, you can. Like you can cut the atmosphere with a knife, can't you? When someone's had an
That's what
argument.
they mean, isn't it?
Yeah, and I do believe that Rorsby has a lot of this. I honestly think that people were mistreated and it's left that.
I don't know
trauma.
I don't think it's just that as well, though. I think maybe it could be partly how many people have been there.
That's a lot of energy in one building.
Yeah, you think how many people have come and gone from that place.
I know.
But not just like that, but also us as investigators. There's people there all the time.
There is.
We've gone on nights and there's been other people there, there's kids there, like...
A lot of people have investigated in Rorsby as well, guys, and I think basically all of them have had some sort of experience.
Not just paranormal investigators, but urban explorers.
Yeah.
We've bumped into them, haven't we, when we've gone and that.
Yeah.
So I think it's been closed since 1997, what we're now, 2023... So you're talking about 26 years of it being closed and of people investigating.
Yeah.
What do people do when they're in there?
Well,
we've experienced it a little bit strange recently, haven't we?
Yeah, you will have seen one of the videos. I'm going to stop there because I don't even know. But
we saw. It looked like some people have been doing seances and that in there.
Yeah,
there was sort of the remnants of it.
Do they know what they're doing?
No, that's it.
But we felt it was different, haven't we?
We did. Those videos are upcoming. One of them I do think you have seen, and it's when I was with Sean. That goes up tonight, so you would have seen it. Yeah, you would have seen it. But we do go back, and it actually wasn't long after, and the atmosphere was still the same. I have been again.
Yeah.
And it's not as bad. Because I went with Julie.
Oh, yeah.
It just feels like it's sort of gone back to normal again. Right, so I don't know, but it kind of threw us, didn't it? Because we've been there so many times. We know the feel of it. We could tell you which room. That normally happens in there. You normally hear footsteps in there of some sort. We can
your
tell
metal bar, your favourite metal bar.
The pole room. Move the pole.
Move the pole.
But yeah, we're not experts, Jesus, like there's no such thing, but we know that place quite well, and we do feel like we've
put a lot of time and hours in there,
we have
documenting
we enjoy
stuff
it.
that.
Oh yeah, we enjoy it, we love it, it's our passion. But it's nice to have somewhere that we do believe is haunted to keep going back to keep experimenting.
Not probably for much longer either, the way they're talking. They're on about...
it's not going to be too long.
It's going to be taken down soon, I think.
It is.
It's all, part of it has already been built into a housing estate, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. A lot of it's been knocked down. Even though there's a lot of it left, what seems to be, it was a lot bigger. So
I think from the way they've described it in the history, it's actually on the farmland they've built the houses up to now.
Okay.
The majority of the hospital
is still there.
Is like parts of it have gone.
Yeah.
But I reckon that all that, because when you go in, it's this side all the way around the back, and then where you come in. So all of that was probably the farm part.
Yeah. You're right.
There's thousands of houses, isn't there? And they're going to build a load more on that bit. Myself, I wouldn't personally want to live on that bit.
No, I don't think I would. But we found, haven't we, that they lurk.
Yeah.
They lurk in the corridors and doorways. They don't come near you, and they don't
out
drag
of
equipment.
out the corner of your eye type thing. You get that a lot, don't you?
It's like they watch. I don't think there's anything nasty as such, but I do think there's negative energy. But I don't know if that's from like energy. Yeah, I don't think that. I don't know if that's just energy left behind.
Probably.
Yeah, or maybe from other investigators that have done things that...
Yeah, probably. You don't know, do you?
You don't know, do
No.
you?
But we do find that every time we've been, it's the same sort of thing, lurking in corridors and doorways. They don't like equipment. It's all back to basics, isn't it, really? But
a lot of it is,
they have started using the cat balls. And they've been they've got closer. They have come closer. So is it because they're used to us? Is it residual energy? Is it intelligent?
I do wonder how much... We've said this quite a lot before, where if you repeatedly go to places, if there is anybody, if there is a spirit there, are they going to be more accepting of you the more they see you?
If it's an intelligent haunting,
because I think about like in our house,
I
think the reason why we get the activity that we do is because they're used to us.
Yeah, they feel safe around you.
They know we're not gonna.
Could be, but that's the thing. None of us know.
No,
none of us know, guys. And
we've been there so many times.
Oh, we have. I can't even count how many times we've been now. I really.
And I don't think you can judge it on the first time. I think you have to.
No, you have to.
It's such a big place.
We've said as well with that place, sometimes we can walk in there, can't we? And boom, it feels like it's kicked off straight away. Other times we've been there 2 hours before we get anything. But we know that if we're patient, that place seems to deliver for us.
Mm.
And is it the energy we give off? Do they
I
feed
don't know.
off that?
That's what
I
I
don't
wonder.
know.
That's what I wonder is like, have they got used to us?
Well, that's
Because
it.
how many times would you say that we've been there all together?
God.
Probably
30
20,
times?
between 20 and 30. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're going to get the same spirits in there, are they going to get used to us and be like, oh, they're back?
Is that why they're getting closer?
Maybe.
Because, well, something's come down the corridor. I don't think you've seen this video yet, guys, but it was when we went and it wasn't very nice.
That when it come up
But
me.
was that something running for help?
I know.
We don't know, and it's sad really thinking like it like that, because we're just like, oh my God, and they're like, what? I just want some help.
Why don't you come to get some help?
I know, you feel really bad actually.
Yeah.
But this is why we do what we do, and it's nice to be able to keep going back to somewhere. You know, I've been asked, why do you go, you know, why not go to new places all the time? Because if a place is worth going back to, you're best off going back to the same place, because you get used to that building, you get used to what happens, you can compare what happens.
Yeah, it's more of a scientific thing, isn't it?
The documenting
what
you're doing.
And the comparison and things.
Exactly.
Because we do get things repeatedly.
Yeah, which to me then, well, to us then, guys, it's like, this is why we believe it's haunted. Sometimes we get a little bit different, but most of the time, even when we get a little bit different, we still get the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Something new might happen, or...
We get the hums and the... We get them quite a lot, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, I know you haven't seen this video yet, guys. I'm pretty sure you haven't, but I went with Sean, just me and Sean, and we got a whistle.
Oh, right.
And I actually edited that video, and I caught it, and it was right in between us.
I think the one time I remember quite vividly, and it wasn't me, it was you two, was down in that crawl space bit.
Yeah.
Where she got really freaked.
Yeah, because we said if Angie's scared, we're scared.
Yeah. And
I wouldn't say...
it's the way you went
it freaked you out.
There's absolutely no reason for what we heard. We expected, genuine hand on heart, we expected to see other humans. And there was nothing there.
Because it walked up towards the door we were looking in.
Yeah.
Because you had the door, but the hall went that way. So obviously we were looking here, expecting to see someone come here. And it stopped, didn't it? Right there. Yeah. But there was no one there.
Oh, that was mad. You eventually stuck your head in, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was
crazy.
Here.
Absolutely nuts.
It was quite scary.
There should have been a human stood there, and there wasn't.
The thing is,
it was a look on her face.
She was like, I think that's what scared me the most.
What, my face?
Well, no.
The look on your face.
I've enjoyed talking about Rorsby. I love that place. It's just amazing. It fascinates us, doesn't it, so much.
Yeah, good. It's a good place to go.
But whilst we can, guys, there'll be plenty more investigations of that place. You have got some more coming, definitely, that are scheduled for you to look at and listen and join us. But there will be more because we're obsessed.
And we've got to get in as many as we can before they knock it down.
Yeah, and then we'll have to find somewhere else that we believe's like really haunted, so we can keep going there.
Yeah.
We do enjoy new places, don't we?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're bumping into different things all the time, aren't you?
We've got so used to going in there now, though, haven't we?
I know, we do love that.
We sit there and we're like, because you won't see this, but we go to so many places and like
it don't work
6, 7 out of 10, you can't get in, or there.
You think there's something there and it's not.
Yeah,
it's just a field.
You just go and you're like, is that what we're meant to be looking at? And there's nothing there. Or we've also experienced quite a lot recently where we've been to places and we've gone to go back to them and you then can't get in because either people have thought, hang on a minute, there's people coming in, I don't want them in, or they've been knocked down, or they've been like locked up, like literally properly.
We'd never break an entry.
No, we don't.
Is that the right word?
We don't break an enter, do we?
No.
So we sort of like, they don't want us in. So when you go to somewhere like Rorsby, the reason why we do go back there a lot is it's like our tried and trusted.
Yeah.
It's the one that
it's open to it.
Yeah,
you just get in, you just walk in.
So we've never had a problem. It's almost like going home, isn't it? It's like, yeah, well, we can't go anywhere else, so let's go back there.
Let's go out. That's quite weird, actually.
Yeah, it is.
It is, but it is. It feels, it's comforting. We know, the only thing we don't know is, right, when I walk through this threshold, are we going to be scared or is it going to be all right? That's the only thing, not knowing how it's going to be in there. And
yeah, definitely.
But thank you so much. This is probably a really long video, but I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been really interesting. I mean, we've been through the history, but to hear it all again has been lovely. Talking about our experience has been nice. The hauntings that are supposed to be there, the Lucifer effect even, it's still interesting, isn't it? To know that something happened in there anyway. But if you've enjoyed this video though, guys, please give it a massive thumbs up for us, because it does help us more than you know. And we will speak to you all in the next video, but until then, sleep tight.